Now that we've mastered standard form of a parabola, let's talk about general form. General form is actually, believe it or not, probably a little more useful than standard form. It's much more common. It's a lot easier to work with. It's a lot easier to find your intercepts from. It's just a little bit harder to find the vertex. So we're going to talk about that on the next slide. But for now, general form is when all of the parentheses are gone, the like terms have been combined, and we're left with something of the form f of x or y equals something x squared, maybe something x, and maybe a constant. So it can have up to 3 terms in it. There are no parentheses left. That is called general form of a parabola or a quadratic function. To find the vertex of a parabola that's in general form rather than standard form, you have to memorize a formula. You're going to need to know it for the remainder of the semester, and really, if you're going to take physics or if you're going to take calculus, you're going to need to know it forever. So the vertex is always given by the x value is opposite b over 2a. Opposite b over 2a, where b is the coefficient of the x and a is the coefficient of the x squared. Now that's how you find the x value of the vertex. The x value of the vertex is equal to the opposite of b divided by 2 times a. Now your book says that you can find the y value by always taking c minus b squared over 4a. The chances of you remembering that are very slim. So usually it's better just to know that once you have the x value, what can you do to find the y value?
Plug it in.
Just plug it back in. And that's what this one's trying to tell you. If you already know the x value is whatever opposite b over 2 is, substitute that in the place of x, and you can find the y that goes with it. So that's how I usually find the y value. I just substitute in the x value. I don't know this formula right here. I never have. I've never bothered to memorize it. I just know that we can always find the x value by taking the opposite of b and dividing it by whatever 2 times a is. And then I can take that value, plug it in, and it will find the y value that goes with it. Let's find the vertex of the parabola whose equation is y, or f of x, equals negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 16. All we want to do is find the vertex. So first off, to do that, I need you to tell me what is the value of little a? Negative 2. What's the value of little b? Positive 12. And the value of little c? We don't actually need little c to find the x value of the vertex. Now, you should already understand what little a, little b, little c are from way back when we did the quadratic formula in the first unit. So you should know that. And then to find the vertex, you start with the formula, the x value of the vertex equals opposite of b divided by whatever 2 times a is. So in this case, the opposite of 12 is divided by 2 times negative 2. And that gives us negative 12 divided by negative 4, which is positive 3. There's the x value of your vertex. Remember that the vertex is an ordered pair. It needs to always be written as an ordered pair. Now we need to go through and find the y value of the vertex. The y value of the vertex is equal to whatever you get when you substitute the x value in. So the y value equals negative 2 times x squared, and our x is 3, plus 12 times 3, minus 16. So use the order of operations and clean that up, and you see that we will get right here, negative 18, plus 36, minus 16, for a total of positive 2. That's the y value of the vertex. So to answer this question, the vertex is the point 3, 2. And that's how you find the vertex from general rather than standard form. Now Now that we know how to find the vertex from general form, let's graph an equation from general form. But let's do it the same way we did when it was in standard form. And you can tell me at the end whether you think it's actually easier to graph from general or from standard form. The first thing you have to do is find the vertex no matter what. And since it's in general form, we need to use the formula. The x value of the vertex is equal to opposite b, which in this case is 5, over 2 times a. What is 2 times negative 2?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Ooh, that's not pretty. So the x value of the vertex is actually a fraction, negative 5/4. All right. So there's the x value. How do I find the y value to go with it?
Plug it in.
Plug it back in. So we'll take the y value and say that it is negative 2 times negative 5/4 quantity squared minus 5 times negative 5/4 plus 3. Wouldn't you love to be doing this without a calculator? So let's take a minute and let's see if we can calculate what that equals.
Oh,
And I would like it as a fraction, please, just for starters.
49/8.
49/8. Did everyone get that?
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
a great number.
It is, it's a lovely number. So we have 49/8, whatever that is. Now, if you're only looking for the vertex, it's best to give the exact, and that's the exact value. A fraction is always exact. That's not going to be very useful, though, if we're trying to graph it. To graph it, it's going to be better to see it as a what?
Decimal.
A decimal. So let's also write it as a decimal. As a decimal, that is negative 1.25, comma what? 6.125? Gross. 6.125. Okay, so even though we don't like it, we've decided that that's our vertex. Is this an upward or downward?
Downward.
It is a downward. Because the value of A is negative. So it's a downward parabola. Furthermore, the vertex, is that the maximum point or the minimum point?
Maximum.
The maximum. Think it through. Yeah, if it's a downward parabola, it's going to look something like this when I'm done. So the vertex is going to be the max point there. There is no minimum point. It shoots down forever. Once we know our vertex, then we want to find our intercepts. Let's start by finding the y-intercept. The y-intercept is actually a lot easier from general form than standard form, or at least I think it is. So we're going to plug in 0 for plain x, right? 0 for x.
Yeah.
And we're going to get f of x or y equals negative 2 times 0 squared minus 5 times 0 plus 3, which equals 3. So we know a third point, a second point actually, I guess, on our graph is 0, comma 3. That's our y-intercept. So we know these points right here. Now let's go through and find the x-intercept. To find the x-intercepts, if it has any, we can find those by setting the original problem equal to 0. Let's try to solve that. I think the best thing to do you guys mind if I go ahead and divide by negative 1? Bryce, is that okay with you? I'm going to divide by negative 1, and I'm going to get 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. And that will allow me to maybe factor it. Now, I know you guys really like bottoms-up factoring, I get that, but you're making mistakes with it left and right. You're not doing well with it, those of you who are using it, because you're forgetting to divide back through by that leading coefficient. So be careful if you're using it. That's costing you points on tests. So this will factor into 2x and x. Let's see, the only possibility for the ends are 1 and 3 or 3 and 1. Yeah? So I'm going to try 1 and 3. If I put 1 and 3 here, I want a positive 5 in the middle. So if I put a positive here and a negative here, I think that'll FOIL out to 2x squared plus 5x minus 3, correct? Take a look. Is that properly factored? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so that FOILs out, and that tells me my two x-intercepts are positive 1/2 and negative 3. So I can write those as the ordered pairs 1/2 comma, what? 0, and negative 3, comma 0. Great. So now I have 4 points, that's all. Let's go put them on a graph and see where we are. Negative 1.25, 6.125. So negative 1.25, positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.125. It's somewhere about right there. Got it? Okay, great. Now I need to put the point 0, 3 on. 1, 2, 3. And the point 1/2, comma 0, which is about right here. And the point negative 3, comma 0. So already I can sort of see this taking shape. But we really would like an additional point. And I don't know how picky WebAssign is going to be, so maybe it's going to ask you to do 5 points. So now you're going to need to go to your table, and you're going to need to find another point. So how about we find one here at negative 2? Could you guys take a minute and go substitute negative 2 in and tell me what y value goes with it for our additional point? So if we substitute negative 2 into the original, what do we get? Well, let's see. We have negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 5 times negative 2 is 10. Negative 8 plus 10 is 2. And 2 plus 3 is, I got 5. Did you guys get 5?
Yes.
Yes? Did anyone else get 5, or are you just agreeing with me because you've had enough with this problem?
We got 5.
Okay, good. So we get negative 2, comma 5. Negative 2, comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it still looks a little weird, but once we connect it, I think you'll see that it looks more normal to you. How's that? Not too bad? It's not the most beautiful sketch in the world, but it'll do. And on WebAssign, you'll be able to pull it and make a perfect parabola, which is kind of nice.